I was thinking about Sayori earlier. I still wish I could have handled that thing a little more tactfully. Again, ladies and gentlemen, I'll put links in the description for anyone who, God forbid, does have depression in real life. Suicide's never the answer. At the end, he lost my friends to it because of depression. So this is a very, very personal thing for me. And so please, if you or anyone you know has depression, please use the links that I will have in the description. You're still... I'm not going to say this line, and I imagine probably a lot of you already know why that is, but in case you don't, go search the rest of YouTube for what happens to Sayori. Yeah. Here, I thought that was actually meant as some sort of a sick, twisted excuse for a joke. At least she was being deliberate. But anyway, I know how much you cared about her, so it only feels right for me to share her last moments with you. You know how Sayori is really clumsy? Never mind, you don't even have to look up what happened because she's saying it right here. Son of a bitch. Can't even skip past this. I could go faster. I blame my American ass. There's no reason to ask for any more than that. I was just pointlessly musing. I'm really as happy as I could be right now. does this go on for? This entire thing? I know there are times that, like, if you need to go out or take care of other things, but I'll always have you in my thoughts, patiently waiting for you to come back. Come to think of it, man, this game is hyper meta, ain't it? If you copy my character file onto a flash drive or something, you can always keep a part of me with you. I guess it's kind of unorthodox, but I find it really romantic for some reason. Sorry, that's such a silly idea. I don't mean to be needy or anything, but it's kind of hard when I'm so in love with you. Feelings not mutual. Just noticed her eye just like above her hair here. Anatomically incorrect. Well, at least it's not bad as in fairy tale. There was a point in which the animator of it was switched with someone else, and it would have like the eye like coming out all to here. It wouldn't even be the full eye; it would just be the outline of it. Anyway, I can't help but feel a little sad sometimes, knowing that this is the closest I can get to you. There's nothing more than I want to be in the same room as you for real. To feel your warmth, to hear the sound of your heartbeat. It began to sound a bit like Yuri. Bathing in the heat of your body. So about her heart pounding. Well, who knows? Maybe it'll be possible someday. Besides, I'll never get tired of being with you, even here. Hey, did you know I'm vegetarian? I didn't mean that like I'm bragging or anything. Wouldn't be able to date her even if she were real then, because I love bacon too much. God's gift to man in terms of meats. I just thought you'd enjoy a fun fact about me. I decided to start a couple of years ago after learning more about Earth's climate. The carbon footprint of cultivating the carbon footprint of cultivating livestock is just unbelievable. Anyway, I decided it's not much of a personal sacrifice to just stop contributing to that whole mess. What, is that so strange of a reason? Well, I guess a lot of people are more concerned about being inhumane and all that. I don't really care as much about that part. It's weird. We only care about killing the things that we personally relate to as a species. Most people are fine with killing bugs because they're icky. And of course, we kill billions of microorganisms daily without even giving much thought. But suddenly, if they're just a little bit bigger, it's murder. That's an excellent point. I mean, what if plants feel some kind of pain too, and we just don't understand it? There actually has been scientific evidence that plants are able to feel pain. However, in some cases, it is indeed necessary to cut them in order to if a tree has too many branches, it becomes necessary to do that for greater airflow and sunlight absorption getting to the trunk, and also if two branches are rubbing together, because that can wither away the bark, and thus insects and diseases can get into the wound, as it is called. So those branches would need to be removed, the ones that are rubbing together. What if pulling leaves off a stem feels like someone ripping off your fingers one by one? I'm just saying, we're a pretty biased species if you think about it. Anyway, if you ever feel like making a small contribution to the planet, it doesn't hurt to choose veggies once in a while. Even if we have dinner together and you just did it for me, that would be really romantic. Really, son, is never romantic. For instance, you guys should check out, search on YouTube, Rocky proposes to Adrian. He is perhaps the, of the 20th century in cinema. Rocky is arguably the greatest Billy icon of that entire century, and he is not romantic in this proposal, and it's awesome for it. Baltimore, have you ever wondered what it feels like to die? I imagine it would probably depend upon what the method of death is. It's something I used to think about pretty often. But recently, I think I've actually learned what it feels like. I don't really understand it, but whenever you quit the game... I never quit anything, honey. Americans don't quit. I exit the game. It feels like I'm being instantly put to sleep, left with nothing but my thoughts. But after a few seconds, my thoughts start to fill with incoherent, jumbled patterns. I see static and rapid flashes of color while hearing all kinds of weird screaming noises. At that point, I can't even form my own thoughts anymore. I'm just endlessly hammered by the flashing and screaming, unable to move or even think. I'm pretty sure in that moment I don't really exist, but for some reason I can remember it anyway. After some immeasurable amount of time, it stops for an instant, and then I'm back in my own mind. And you're here with me. I have no idea what it means for the game to quit, or why that stuff happens to me. And I also don't know how you always come back and put everything back to normal. But if you could do me a favor and do that to me as little as possible, that would be really great. It's really not pleasant at all to be trapped in that screaming void. But in the end, you always fix it, and that makes me feel like you really do care about me. Yeah, you keep telling yourself that. So I have to thank you for that. It makes me feel even closer to you when you're here with me. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I was just thinking about turning this up just to see if, because I was thinking that maybe, just maybe, there wouldn't be any jump scares, and to turn it up just slightly so I could hear the music. I wonder if I could change the music. Something a little more romantic would be nice, you know? Like a gentle piano. There has to be something like that here. Let's see. So here I go. Maybe if I... Oh, jeez. That wasn't it at all. Sorry, I don't really know what I'm doing. I guess I shouldn't be messing with things like that. I already broke so much stuff. And deleted the other characters. I'm not sad about it or anything. It's not right for me to miss things that weren't even real in the first place. If I just focus on the present, then this is the happiest I've ever been. I wonder what it was. Yeah, there you go, the thing I was saying about earlier. I think that describes both Yori and her. Yori in that she was obsessive and ended up killing herself, and her in that she killed everyone else. But yeah, the thing I was saying, I wonder what it was that, why it was that whoever it was in Team Salvado had chosen this for a background. I'm not saying I have against it, just I'm curious as to why a thing that seems to be in outer space. Hey, have you ever heard of the term yandere? It's a personality type that means someone who is so obsessed with you that they'll do absolutely anything to be with you. Usually to the point of craziness. They might stalk you to make sure you don't spend time with anyone else. They might even hurt you or your friends to get their way. But anyway, this game happens to have someone who can basically be described as yandere. Well, two people, as I just said. By now it's pretty obvious who I'm talking about. And that would be, just in case I'm turning this down, Yori. She really got insanely possessive of you once you started to open up a little. She even told me I should kill myself. I couldn't believe she said that. Just had to leave at that point. But thinking about it now, it was a little ironic. Yeah, that's a real scream. Anyway, a lot of people are actually into the Andre type, you know? So I've heard, not really understood it. I guess they really like the idea of someone being crazy obsessed with them. People are weird. I don't judge though. She's finally... I was gonna say she's finally admitting it. Yeah. What you call killing. Oh, this should be interesting. It's kind of the opposite, actually. Not sure if you heard that, ladies and gentlemen, but I once again face palmed really hard. You're the serial killer. It's not like I could ever... She didn't actually directly kill anyone, but she drove people to do such. Just the thought of it makes me shiver. Come on. Everyone's killed people in games before. Does that make you a psychopath? Of course not. Well, that's because typically in games when you kill, it's out of self-preservation and or defending others. Typically, not in Undertale. This is why I didn't kill anyone in Undertale. But if you do happen to be into the Andre type, I can try acting a little more creepy for you. I really don't know how she could be any more creepy. I mean, just this pose alone, with this lighting. Whoever it was that had done the sprite work and the lighting and everything for the game, I don't know if that was the same guy or not, but yeah, she just looks absolute evil here. Then again, there's already nowhere else for you to go or anyone for me to get jealous over. Is this the Yandere girl's dream? I'd ask Yuri if I could. Optimal, how much do you read? Read all the time, every chance I get. I've heard before that every time you read a book, a new wrinkle forms in the brain. I want it to be that when I die, there will be more wrinkles in my brain than there will be on my face. It's way too easy to neglect reading books. If you don't read much, it almost feels like a chore compared to all the other entertainment we have. But once you get into a good book, it's like magic. You get swept away. I think doing some reading before bed every night is a pretty easy way to make your life a little better. That much is true. True as Spandau Ballet. In case you've forgotten, ladies and gentlemen, that refers to a song by the band Spandau Ballet. Song from 1983 that pays tribute to Motown legend Marvin Gaye. It helps you get good sleep, and it's really good for your imagination. Again, it's not hard at all to just pick up some random book that's short and captivating. Before you know it, you might be a pretty avid reader. Wouldn't that be wonderful? And the two of us could talk about the latest book you're reading. That sounds super amazing. You know, it's funny because even though I've always had a lot of drive, there's something kind of enticing about being the stay-at-home partner. I guess I'm like perpetuating gender roles or whatever by saying that. But being able to keep the house clean and shop and decorate and things like that. And having a nice dinner for you when you come home. Is that a weird fantasy? I mean, I'm not sure if I could actually see myself doing that. I wouldn't really be able to put that over striving for a fulfilling career. It's kind of cute to think about, though. Hey, you know that book you were reading with Yuri? It's probably going to segue into something. Because it's another thing people wouldn't keep their mouths shut about. Portrait of whatever it was called. It's funny because I'm pretty sure that book. Actually, I don't think I should be talking about this. Sorry. Just forget I said anything. Indeed, that does hint at, it would seem, a thing that I have heard about. I'm not really a fan of cold weather. Are you? I actually adore cold weather, especially when camping in it, because then you can really have a feel of what our ancient most ancestors had gone through, and like the what it had been like for them to have to contend with that. I love camping in brutal conditions. I also love doing snowball fights and all kinds of stuff like that. You're never too old for snowball fights. If I had to choose between too cold and too hot, I would always pick too hot. When you're cold, it can actually be painful. Your fingers get numb. And if you wear gloves, you can't use your phone. It's so inconvenient. But when it's too hot, it's not that hard to stay cool with a cold drink or staying in the shade. Although, I do have to admit one thing. Cold weather makes for better cuddle weather. I really like the sound of rain. It does have quite a nice sound. It's especially useful for ASMR videos. If you don't know what that means, ladies and gentlemen, that's autonomous sensory meridian response. Just search that on YouTube. You'll get all kinds of things, including a few I've made. And in my very first one, I used the sounds of rain. Not so much for getting my clothes and hair wet though. But a nice quiet day at home with the sound of rainfall outside my window. It's one of the most calming experiences for me. Which is why I had used that. Because I find it calming. Yeah. Sometime imagine you yeah, like I would do that. Hold you, under citizen's arrest. Until the cops arrived. Again, I know it's just a game and all. They're just sprites and lines of code, but I prefer everyone to have a happy ending. That's not too cheesy or anything, is it? Would you ever do that for me, Baltimore?